All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elder bishops, hand great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect scattered abroad. I'm the brother Taz of War from the GMS New Jersey camp, and just got another video for you, another reaction to the brother's video, Arrows of Indignation 144. A digital person, literally not a figurative of speech, right? So, you know, when you hear this guy, I gotta figure out his name. But he breaks it down, as far as Esau and his NWO when it comes to this beast system. And all I can say is we told you, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, we told you. Right? You got different Israelite camps out there who are still, going against Bible prophecy, who are not repenting, who are also perverting the gospel, remixing the scriptures, adding, taking adding and taking away, what's written, hoping that they can convince, Israelites out there that other nations can make it. It's all sorts of madness going on. But meanwhile, the Lord is fulfilling prophecy. All right. So without further ado, let's play the video. Fair use, fair use. Not using this video for monetary gain. Just educational purposes.
Controller, it's an interesting thing. A lot of people...
Fair use, fair use. All right.
Don't realize what they're involved in. Just a simple fact of using credit cards, using smartphones, and all of this automated system is the problem. People don't realize what it is. This system we're being led into is the New World Order in itself. The 5G smart grid is the New World Order, the Internet of Things. It's the New World Order. People don't really understand how that works, but what it's about is monitoring every single aspect of your life. The smart grid is being presented to people as this thing that's going to be highly beneficial to us. You'll only be using the electricity that you use, you'll only be paying for that, all this sort of stuff. So it's been presented as a really positive thing. But what it will do, it will put a dollar value on absolutely every aspect of your life. So that every time you turn on a tap, credit goes. Every time you turn on a light, every time you watch your TV, every time you boil your jug, every time you do anything, there's a dollar value attached to it. There's an interesting TV show that came out a couple of years ago called Black Mirror, and they had one episode of that where everybody, the only job they had was running on a treadmill or spinning a bike and just to accumulate credits, and they had to pay for every single action that they performed. And that's what the smart grid is. That's what we're being led into. And it's all about digital currency and control of everything. And if you're someone who lives a slightly alternate lifestyle, say you grow a few vegetables and you give some to your neighbours, or you do a little bit of massage for someone, or you do a bit of tarot reading or something like this, the only way you're going to be able to get paid for that once the smart grid comes online is through the transfer of digital credits, which means the government will get a tax. You'll have to put it on your income tax, or everything will be monitored. That's what it's about, complete blanket surveillance of every single action people are doing.
Right, because it's all about control. This is something that's, been said over and over through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, through the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, we told you that it's all about control, and every little piece, every little action, every little thing that you do in your life is being recorded, is being judged. All right, and it's being tracked. So this is the world that Esau is imagining that we're going to live in. And this is why we tell you we need Yahweh Shai, and why Yahweh Shai is returning. All right, real quick, I'm going to get a quick precept. This is just a click of the button. Let's go to the book of Matthew 24. And you brothers and you sisters, y'all know the scriptures already. I'm just going to sing the song. All right. This is the book of Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Excuse me. It says, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So if the Lord didn't shorten these days for the elect, the very elect would be destroyed. All right. Or would have given in, to this. So the Lord shortened the days for the elect's sake. Now, this scripture comes to mind because our Lord Yahushua, right, his own words, he says, Revelations 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them to dwell upon the earth. And that hour of temptation is that micro-C-hip. The guy going to explain as we, get further more into the video, that it all leads to that micro-C-hip. See, most people who, let me say that have a brain, and that's actually watching, know that it's coming down to it. They know that it's coming down to that micro-C-hip, which is the Bible prophecy. All right, that microchip, that mark. It says, verse 11, behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So we have to hold on to this truth, that no man takes that crown. That crown is when Yahushua placed that crown upon the heads, the vision that Edris saw. All right, when he said he saw one taller than the rest, putting crowns upon the men's heads. That was the elect. Verse 12, him that overcome will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit say unto the churches. All right, so let's get back to the video.
That's what the smart grid is. And it's being rolled out underneath everything else while we're arguing about all of these issues and being given all of these global conflicts and all of this theatre of politics to fight and squabble about. Underneath all of that is this smart grid. And it's rolling out very, very quickly. And the smart grid, the 5G grid, underlying that is the fact that the 5G system that they're using to run the smart grid, the Internet of Things, has also been used by the military. It's a military-grade technology. It's basically an active denial system. So the 5G grid not only will it track everything you do, it can be used as a weapon. It can be used as a microwave cannon. It can be used to disable people, to track people. It can see through walls. It can see what you're carrying, whether you're carrying money, whether you're carrying a weapon, all of this sort of stuff. So it's very, very evasive. Plus it does all sorts of damage to us biologically. It damages our cell structure, damages the cell structure of all food, changes the cell structure of everything that it comes into contact with. And the 5G system will be a blanket system, blanket wave of communication. We've got situations now where you lose signal on your mobile phone if you move too far away from a tower. That won't happen with the 5G. It will be everywhere, right across the country, in rural areas, everywhere. You'll be able to get perfect signal. So everyone's going to kind of welcome this, but they don't realise what it is. It's about everything talking to everything else and everything tracking everything else. And also with the smart grid, it turns virtually every smart appliance into a surveillance system. There's been a new law passed in Australia where police have just been given the permission to tune into smart devices and listen to what's going on in people's homes. They can tune into your refrigerator. A lot of people don't realise your smart fridge has a microphone. They can tune in and listen to the conversations you're having.
Yeah, and people think that's far-fetched. Oh, nobody's listening. Who cares? I'm not saying anything wrong if they are, but they are through all the smart technology. This is just the prelude or the beginning as we bring out, the apostles, the elder bishops, the brothers on down here in Great Millstone. We always tell you it's the gradualism and conditioning,
Everything in your kitchen. So anybody who's targeted for any reason at all, if they've got suspicions about anybody, they can just tune in, listen to their device.
Right. Notice he said if they targeting you, now us brothers that serve Yahweh Shemel Shai, that go out and teach this word faithfully, we know we're being targeted. We know we're being listened to. We're not naive or simple. We know that. They want to know what we're doing in our everyday life. They want to know. They got spies. They send forth to be in the camp. Who brother you think is a brother and he's not a brother. The apostles always say it. It's always spies in every camp. Or you might have a brother that might have got himself in some trouble and then he sell out. Now he's an informant. And he's in the camp or whatever reason. Right. So, I remember years ago, this is a few years ago, way before 2020. And I remember I had situations where my phone, I knew my phone was being tapped. My phone was sending brothers in the camp, was sending my latitude and longitude location to each brother, whoever it would be. And brothers would call me and be like, yo, why you send me this? And I'm like, I ain't say you nothing. And then they would text me a picture of what was sent to them, And then there was one time, quick testimony, another one time I was actually watching this I ain't gonna call him brother. This dude was a part of the camp. He fell out. If he listening, he know that this is him. But I was watching the apostles, and I was watching them on the street teaching, and I was watching them through my laptop. Now my cell phone was underneath the laptop, meaning I was on like a desk to where my laptop was on, and my phone was like on the first shelf under the laptop, and I was listening to the apostle, to the bishops. It was the bishops teaching on the street on 34th, right back in the day. This is a minute ago, and and all of a sudden, my phone rung. So okay, I looked at the phone, and before I could even grab it to answer it, the phone stopped ringing. So I kind of just looked down at it because I saw it go off, and I really didn't even know who called. It was like a one-time ring, like boom, like, and I looked down, didn't even touch it, didn't reach for it, and then it went off. So I said, fuck it, I was into the video. They'll call back if they want something, or I'll check it in a minute. Then the brother at the time, he called again. So I paused the video, picked it up. It was going on, and the brother was like, yeah, yo, why you hang up on me? I'm like, I ain't hang up on you. I ain't never pick up the phone. He was like, yeah, you listening to the brothers. He's like, I heard you listening to the GMS brothers, And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, but how you know that? He was like, yeah, because I heard when I called the first time you picked up, and I heard, what you was listening to, and then the phone just hung up. And I said, I never even touched the phone. I never touched the phone at all. So whatever signals got jammed because they was doing it and they're spying, it kind of leaked or exposed, my phone being tapped. So we always being watched. I think they call it gang stalking as well. There's so many situations I can bring up right now. But yeah, don't be surprised, when shit hit the fan and these devils come telling you about your personal business, because they're listening, they're watching. And it's not just us, but it's for all of those, like he said, that seems, that's basically a target, So let's continue in the video.
They've just been given the permission to tune into smart devices and listen to what's going on in people's homes. They can tune into your refrigerator. A lot of people don't realise your smart fridge has a microphone. They can tune in and listen to the conversations you're having in your kitchen. So anybody who's targeted for any reason at all, if they've got suspicions about anybody, they can just tune in, listen to their devices, their mobile phones, their refrigerators, their televisions, turn their cameras on, watch them through the television, all the stuff that they're doing. This is what the smart grid is. And this is being rolled out underneath everything. And we've got so many people distracted on so many issues trying to address the government corruption and all of this stuff. They're not realising that this is all rolling out. And in another 3 or 4 to 5 years, they're just going to wake up and go, what happened? How do I suddenly find myself in this digital prison? Because that's what it is. That's virtually what it is. It's a digital prison, a digital control grid. And if you want to participate in this society, you're going to have to participate in the smart grid. So we need to look at what it is and what it's going to be used for, and realise that the technology that we've got, we could use for our benefit. All of this stuff could be used in completely different ways, in completely different directions. A smart grid could be used to the great benefit of mankind, and it's being presented in that way. But when you look at the people who are running it, the people who are running the world, well, the world's run by criminals, and they're not going to use this in the right way. They have no intention of it. And if you look at some of the white papers they've put out themselves, papers that have been put out by the Pentagon recently, that talk about a federal vision for future computing and the nanotechnology grand challenge, and they talk about this 15-year plan they've got to roll all this out and eventually hand it all over to AI to control. And when we get to that point, then we've got the entire human experience being controlled by a machine, which will dictate everything according to an economic value and dictate everybody's value according to their economic worth. So this is a very, very bad situation for mankind to be led into under the guise of convenience and making our lives easier. It's really not going to do that at all.
Right. You know, so that's a lot there that's said. And this is something we heard before. It's not new, man. All right. So that's why it's important to hold on to your crown. You know, get down for your crown. Scriptures talk about give diligence to make your calling and election sure. You know, because this prophecy it will come to pass, man. And it's coming to pass. Right. So real quick, I want to bring out a quick precept. Let's go into the book of Isaiah 63. Because Yahweh Shai is on his way. All right. When he cracked those clouds, as we always say, when he appears with the mighty angels, he's going to take this devil's system down. Right. So real quick, Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. It says, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. It says, wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thou garment like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. I will tread them in my anger. I will trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Now that winepress represents America. All right. So it says matter of fact, get a quick precept. This is Isaiah 47:3. Thou nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thou shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So when Yahweh Shai come, which they calling him an alien, you know, he's going to destroy you devils. He's going to destroy the foundation of this place. He said he's not going to he said, I will take vengeance and I will not meet you as a man. All right. Because he's coming back as an angelic power, man. Right. Let's get another one. Isaiah 53:3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Right? Let's get one more. Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. All right, which is, you know, his words is written in red. So you know that the Lord is speaking. He said, I come not to send peace, but a sword. Because Yahweh Shai came to bring division, all right, to separate the holy from the profane. He's going to come and gather his elect. See, that's another cut on him saving the other nations or whoever believe. It's all about the Israelites, man, who was scattered, right? And the Israelites were scattered among the other nations. The Lord, Yahweh Shai said, I come not to send peace, but a sword. That sword represents division. All right, a separation, something that is wholly separated from the profane, man. And these heathens are profane, right? Anyway, even Yahweh Shai is coming to bring division. So let me finish up real quick. This is back in Isaiah 63:4. He says, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemer is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and I will make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. And their strength is their military, right? Most High is going to break their teeth. All right, Esau won't have a bite. He won't have a bite. He won't have strength. His military will fall. And not only his, but all the other nations as well. All right, so let's continue real quick.
Doing it through the Internet of Things is how it's all being rolled out. You know, and basically, what is essential for the whole thing to happen is digital currency. They've got to digitize currency, remove all cash from the system. And you're getting that here in Denmark. You know, we were discussing with people today. You can only ride the trains. You've got to pay for it with your mobile phone. What if you don't have a mobile phone? And if you don't log on, you've got to log on to the train. And then if you don't log off when you get off the train, it keeps taking your money. And suddenly your account has been depleted because you forgot to log off when you get off the train. Now, they could make all these sorts of things convenient. Now, you could pay for that, and you could just gauge your trip, you didn't have to log off. But they do that so that it depletes your account so that people want the smart grid. They make all these inconveniences. They put all these systems in place to make it inconvenient for you. You could forget to log off. You could forget to swipe your card when you leave the train, so suddenly all your money's gone. So they put these situations in place to make people want this grid to come online. Recently, when I came to check into the United States, I got to the passport counter. 16 counters there, 2 of them were open. 4 aeroplanes arrived, 1,200 people waiting to get through. 2 passport counters. Took us 2.5 hours to get our passports stamped. Because that way you want the retinal scanners, you want the smart grid. It's much more convenient. So they make it inconvenient for you all across the world. And people don't notice it. They just think it's hard to do things, and they want it. They welcome it. And meanwhile, they're focused on all these battles and all these theatres of politics and all this stuff that they think is the problem. Because they think they can address it. They think we can vote people in, vote people out, whatever. Put a new figurehead up there that will do the right thing for us. But underneath it all is this grid. And that's how they're going to do it. They just make it very, very inconvenient for you not to participate in the smart system. And so much easier when you do. And so people welcome it. You know, and that's the way it's going. You know, a lot of people are going to welcome this smart system. A lot of people are going to welcome instant communication. They're going to see it as a way to free the world. And like I said, it could be used to free the world, but it's not. It's going to be used to lock down the world, because underneath it is this.
Yeah, because he's the wicked. All right. He's the wicked. This powerful technology on the left-hand side is powerful, you know, and it can do great, you know, I'm going to say good things, but it's not designed for that. All right. The Lord set this devil up for a reason. And that's because he's going to show his power in thee. He's going to show his great power by taking down this devil. All right. Those who got ears to hear, let them hear.
Surveillance system that is the smart grid, and underneath that is the weapons system that it can be turned into if you don't comply with the smart grid. And it gets to the point where if you do decide not to comply, you become a dissident, they can simply switch you off, switch your chip off. And once it's all digital and you...
See, switch your chip off. Now, you know, I have to real quick. And I'm going to come back to it. We're going to go to the prophecy, and I just read it. You know, at this point in time, you know exactly what it is. Revelations 13:16, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right. So you should know the breakdown. That mark goes into the Greek word charagma, all right, which is something brand that goes underneath the skin. And if you go deeper into the root word of charagma, which is charax, is the actual instrument that puts the charagma underneath the skin. All right. It said no man might buy or sell. You won't be able to buy nor sell, all right, unless you have this mark, which is that charagma. And here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. But his number, it says, for his number of a... For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, going into chi 5 stigma. Right. So stigma, which is twofold, you know, because it can also mean somebody's known for something. You know, he has a stigma. He's known for this, he's known for that. But also the other meaning of stigma, when you go into the Strong's G4742, it says stick, right? Prick, a mark pricked it in or branded upon the body. Okay. It says the ancient slaves, soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their masters, or commander branded or pricked, cut into the body to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And they were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. So you can't get around this, all right? When you go into the 666, which is going into chi 5 stigma, that stigma means to prick, to stick. And it even says that in ancient times, the slaves and soldiers bore the name of the stamp of their master, or commander branded or pricked cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. So ain't no getting around this. And just to go a little further, the Strong's definition, right? When you go down, stigma, right? It says a mark incised or punched, right? When you look up the word incise, let's look that up.
Incise.
Mark, right? An object or surface with a cut or a series of cuts. Cut, a mark. So it's a mark, right? That's a cut. And what's that micro C hip? It's a cut underneath the skin. All right, the implant goes right underneath the skin. So let's get back.
You need that chip to get into your car, to get into your house, to access your bank account, to buy things. It's all automatic. Suddenly you're locked out of the system. So there's no hope of dissent. There's no hope of free thought. There's no hope of questioning any of this. You just have to simply go with the flow. Because in the smart grid, there will only be two types of human beings that they're really concerned with. The smart grid will only, because it's going to be run by an hour, it'll only look at two types of human beings, those that are desirable and those that are undesirable. And that's it. That'll be the two classes that you're in. And where you are in the food chain will be measured according to your economic worth. You know, that's another important.
See that? See why we need Yahweh Shai to save us from this devil? We need the Lord, you know, the water Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for, you know, putting this in motion before we exist, man. You know, the Most High wrote the end from the very beginning. And if you're a part of the elect, be thankful, you know, that the Lord chose you, right? It's very important, you know, that the Lord send, our Heavenly Father send forth Yahweh Shai to cover the remnant of his elect. Talks about Michael. Thinking about that precept. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. See, so, you know, when I hear this guy speak and break this down, which is things we already know, I think about the Lord delivering us and why we need a savior. All right, why we must need to be saved. All right, how could we be the Lord's people and serve the Lord when we under these conditions, under Esau's madness? You know, we already under his madness, but this right here is full control. That's why the scriptures talk about. Let me go to it. Let's go to it, and I just read it. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. In verse 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. You see? Because he wants to be the Most High, you know, to control everybody on a planet like this. He wants to be the Most High. And it's not going to happen. All right. It's not going to happen. He's going to have his way for a while. Or I'll say for a small second. Let's say that. He's going to have his way for a small second. And then it's the end of him. And I'm going to bring that out and close with the book of Job. So let's continue a little more what he say.
The thing people need to look about AI and what is going to be running the system is the fact that it's judging everybody according to their economic worth. It's putting a dollar value on everything. And all you've got to do is go and analyze a corporation to realize it's a psychopath. So when you've got a system that is putting an economic value on every human life and every human action, this is a psychopathic system that will discard people if they cannot pay for every action they perform. And life was never supposed to be like that. But, you know,
see that? Life is not supposed to be like that. And that's why these devils got to go. Now you should see, you know, I'm thinking about the Tower of Babel. You know, how when you come against the Most High, you're changing the way that he designed us to be. You know, he separated the nations. He even gave us our own lands, right? He you know, man, it's so much earth out here, and these devils are really trying to put us in a shoebox. He's trying to put every nation in the world into a shoebox. A shoebox. Now, the brother Ariar in the camp, I remember he had did a video, or what was it? I don't know if I see it from him. I don't know, but I remember seeing a video where they had the future of us living in some sort of I don't even know how to explain it, in some sort of like wall, this straight wall that people lived in, and they ran it across certain lands, and everything outside of that wall was just earth, and we lived within the walls. It's some shit, I forgot the name of it, man, but this is madness, bro. Like he said, psychopath. That's what he is, man. The son of perdition.
Just do it through the convenience and do it through making life so inconvenient for people if they don't participate. And they're doing it here, they're doing it everywhere. Every country that I go to, I can see elements leading towards a cashless society. And it's being done under the guise of convenience, but that is the catalyst that's going to hold it all together.
All right, so there you go. All right, let's want to go to the book of Job real quick, and I'll close with that. Because when I hear about more and more about this NWO being established, and as we get closer and closer, all you can do is hope for the Lord. There's nothing we can do to stop this devil. And the Lord gave us one job, right? And that's to prophesize. Prophesize until he shut our mouths, man. And then the Lord gonna make moves. So it's all about having hope. These devils don't want you to have hope. All right. But we do. All right. Scriptures talk about hope being an anchor to our soul. We believe and we have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua's word. All right. We in the business of knowing that he's going to come deliver us. We're not what ifing. All right. We're knowing that he is, because we know that we're the Israelites. And it's time that the Lord, he has called us back. And we always go into it's that John 4. Yahweh told the woman at the well, the hour will come when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. Right? We know who we worship. Right? Salvation is of the Jews. And I'm roughly paraphrasing. Right? And he said he looked forward to those to worship him. So it's the time where the Lord looking forward to the elect. So that means he's going to deliver them. So Job 20:5, the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but is still within his mouth. Yet his meat and his bowels is turned. It is the gall of apes within him. He have swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of apes. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore. He shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not fill quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desire. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him when he is about to fill his belly. The Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. Now, when it says the wicked shall come upon him, it just means the laborers. When you go into the word wicked, it's talking about the laborers, right? He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittery sword cometh out of his goal. Terrors are upon him, and that's your thermonuclear destruction. All right, your ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, coming out of their silos to go up into the heavens to reach their destination, all right, which is here in Babylon the Great. So this place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. It says, all darkness shall be hid in his place. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. So call halal la Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. All right. All praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai. All right. Call halal la Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. So with that, I hope you were edified. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my apostles and elder bishops, hand great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom.